Hey everybody, today my video message is basically about how you have to begin to understand what a true, real relationship with God is versus you just being churched up. And what I mean by churched up is that I think at some point or another, all of us have been what you call churched up. And churched up is just people that faithfully go to church every single Sunday. They go to church every single Sunday. They are the first one in the church and they are the last one to leave. They put on their best outfit. They put on their makeup. The fellas, they get their best suit, their best shoes. They have their badge on. They are operating in several different auxiliaries in ministry, and pretty much everybody knows who they are. And people can look at you and tell, hey, you go to church a lot. They may not even be able to see, or they may not even notice anything else about you besides the fact that you're always in church and you're just known amongst friends and family members and probably people in your neighborhood is going to church all the time. But at the end of the day, we can all put on our best outfit and look as best as we can. But the problem comes in because so many of us are churched up, but we don't have a real relationship with God. Now, I wasn't going to do this video, but I feel there's somebody out here that needs to hear this because I walked around in ignorance for many, many years of my life. I have been saved since I was probably 5 years old, and leadership and being in ministry and doing things in church is not new to me. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. I know about holding a microphone and speaking in front of people, being in front of cameras, having different positions and titles. This is something that I was doing at the age of 5. But what I learned is that all of these years of me going to church and sitting in Sunday school Sunday after Sunday and having a teacher tell me to read scriptures out the Bible or to memorize it, I would hear older, more seasoned people that have walked with God for a very, very long time. I would hear them say things like, well, I heard the voice of God tell me this. I heard the voice of God tell me that. God dealt with me on this. God dealt with me on that. And I didn't understand what they were saying because I never had experienced hearing the voice of God, receiving instructions from God, or even understanding really anything about God. I was just sitting in a church setting all of my life from childhood, as I stated before, and I was just taught and trained, go to church. You're going to be saved. And after you get saved and you admit that you believe Jesus died on the cross for your sins, you're going to get baptized. And after you get baptized, you're going to pick what you want to do in church and you're going to operate in it. And so for all of those years of my life, I was operating in being churched up, being a product or just a parishioner in the church, but I lacked a real relationship with God. You people that are going to church Sunday after Sunday, you have to get a real relationship with God if you don't already have it. I never understood in all of my years of going to church and being a saved woman of God what it truly meant to have a real relationship with God. I wanted to get to the point where I heard the voice of God, where I received guidance from God, where I received instructions, and where it was things spiritually going on with me that I was delivered from and burdens lifted off of me, literally. So what I began to do, I began to go to God. And I began to tell God that I needed. It wasn't necessarily what I wanted, but I began to tell God I needed to hear his voice. I told God that I needed him to deliver me from so many different things that was weighing me down. Some things I understood where they come from, what they came from. Some things I did not understand. Some things I brought on myself. I opened up certain doors in my life, so I had to deal with certain things. But in my video message, I'm here to tell you, if you are churched up, and you are one of the people that go to church faithfully every Sunday, but you lack a real relationship with God, meaning you are not talking to God. You are not praying to God. You are never opening up your Bible, and you are not going to God, asking him literally to reveal all things to you that need to be revealed, if you are not asking God to literally change the inside of you from being so impure and foul and ugly, this video message is specifically for you. It's not some of you all's fault, because like I said, and I'm including myself in this, I was the main one going to church Sunday after Sunday for years. And it was just a short 3 years ago where I really began to develop a real relationship with God, where he started transforming me bit by bit. And he began to really deal with me on my attitude, on the way I thought, on the way I viewed people and places and things that I was holding on to, people that I was associated with and connected with, and things that were going on spiritually. And I didn't understand certain attacks. I didn't understand where certain things were coming from. And I didn't understand where it appeared that I was happy in the position that I was in ministry, but it was something inside of me waiting to bust out, because I knew he had placed so many other gifts in me. And I kept being stuck in the same position Sunday after Sunday, and I got tired of it. It was not personal. I was not angry at anybody. I didn't go through anything. It was just that God was dealing with me in another area, and I didn't know how to let the main thing go to really get all of what God had for me, or even understand what else he had for me. And I began to put so much before God. And that's when God opened me up and I began to hear his voice. That is when God began to deal with me about me. That's when God began to show me things that I was going through, and even reveal certain people to me and their plans and their motives and their agendas. But it was not in alignment with what God specifically had for me. So my video message is for you all. I'm telling you in this message, you need to get a real relationship with God and just stop going to church. You cannot continue for the rest of your life putting on your outfit, putting on your makeup, doing your hair cute, and going to church, singing and dancing, and you feel that that's all it's about. Because trust me, on this walk with Christ, it's much deeper than what you have on. It's much deeper than that little badge that you wear on your clothing. And it's much deeper than what you do in a church setting. Trust me, because each day that I wake up, it's been days where I've said, God, I can't do this. This is too difficult for me. I cannot continue to walk with you. You require too much. I got too many things going on inside of me that I don't understand. I'm getting attacked in certain areas. I can't really do what I want to do anymore. The thing about it is, when you walk with God, he's holding you accountable for every single thing that you do. People, it's time to stop playing with God. It's time to stop playing with church. It's time for you to stop following behind the visions of other people, and you need to get a vision aligned with God and get yourself together. You probably don't even know that it could be something inside of you that's evil, or you have a negative character, up until God deals with you about it, and up until God starts to reveal and speak to you about you. That's the place that I had to get to, and there was a complete transformation inside of me. So my video message, people, you gotta stop playing church, and you must. It's critical. It's inevitable. You have to stop thinking that you have a real relationship with God just because you go to church. It's deeper than this. It's deeper than you going to church. It's deeper than you being active in ministry. It's so much deeper, people. This God thing, I'm going to ride it out. I'm going to tell you, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I don't care what people have to say. I don't even care about what's released about me from what I did or what I said in my past. All my blemishes have been forgiven, and I'm moving on. You need to do the same. When I tell you, people, that this walk with God, you must be spiritually, physically, and mentally strong. And you really, the time that we live in, you must know and hear the voice of God. Because there's so much stuff going on in the spirit realm, and there's so much stuff going on in the natural that you are not even aware of. because you're walking around in willful ignorance. Some of you, you're willfully ignorant. You so caught up in the entertainment and the glitz and the glamour and having all this fun that you have forgotten to literally consecrate yourself and walk alone, where God literally just deals with you. God will even pull you out the church to where you just spend time with him and he deals with you. And trust me when I tell you that the true real work of God surpasses what you do in the building. The real work of God, baby, you out in these streets with his children. The ones that's on drugs, the ones that are homeless, the ones that are hungry, the ones that are demonically possessed. And you have to pray for them. You have to lay hands for them. And you have to tell these people about Christ. I'm not religious. I don't do ritualistic stuff. But one thing that I can say, I truly now, at this point in my life, I truly understand and I know God for real now. But it took God to put my back up against the wall for me to yield and submit myself to him. And I released this video to let you all know it's time out for playing. It's time out for going to church and you being known for the top preacher and the top singer and the top prophet and the top musician. You need to be the top vessel for God and do what God truly has called you to do and get a real relationship.